Well, hello, everybody. Good morning and welcome in. So glad you are with us here today. It's Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy, along with our good friends at Yellow Hammer News and yellowhammernews.com. Barry is off today and tomorrow. He is in North Carolina receiving a Broadcaster of the Year award as the best radio play-by-play broadcaster in the state of Alabama. I don't know where this award's been. Should have been awarded to him many, many years ago, but he's getting it this year, and he will be there receiving that and enjoying all the festivities. So congratulations to Barry, and I look forward to hearing all about it on Wednesday when he returns. In his absence, no, that is not Mickey Mouse in the screen over here. That is actually Gern Sr. with the Terry Bowden headphones on today. Gern's going to sit in today and give us some of his words of wisdom that he is so well known about. Gern, how's it going this morning early on a Monday today?
All good, John. You know, I have to, my day starts even a little earlier because I have to hit I-65 up the road from Green Vegas to get here. And I'll have to say beach traffic is light this morning. I'll do the major delay spiel here. My guess is it will be picking up people leaving from last weekend, but going south could be a disaster. So I had an interesting little segue. I had to go pick up the family I was in Mobile, but I was headed back to Perdido. I got a call, hey, you need to come pick me up at Ono. And so I said, okay, which way am I going? I could go to Pensacola area that way and go over the bridge. I could go over the Baldwin County Expressway, put my Waze in. It said, go Baldwin County. I'm like, wow, really? That just seems a long way.
Yeah.
It took me an hour and 30 minutes to go 18 miles. People tried to go over that bridge into Gulf Shores, Orange Beach. It was a disaster. Now, what was interesting about it is, it was all because two lanes went to one. And it was all about manners. Like, you ever been in that situation where you're in the right lane, but you got all these people who are trying to get in? They're trying to get in that lane, and who's going to let them? And everybody starts getting closer and closer, so they won't let them in. So I became that. I was in the right lane. And so I wasn't letting them in. Then I did the unthinkable of moving over to the middle to block, so they couldn't come past. But then you saw people just keep coming past and getting in. It was just, doing the right thing. These days, doing the right thing. When you.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, doing the right thing. Exactly. I'll let a few people in, but after a while, I'm tired of being Mr. Nice Guy. You got to fend for yourself. So you got to move.
You look over and you make that eye contact. You're looking over. Don't make eye contact. If you do, they expect to be let in. So
now,
anyway,
that was tried and true back in the days. If you had a really cute girlfriend, you got her to roll the window down and go, "Hey,
let me in."
Every time.
You can do anything.
Yeah, it worked every time. But I get it. Traffic's tough. I hate to hear that. I know what's coming. I'm heading south later this week as well. And kind of wonder, about the traffic situation. What really I'm worried about or concerned about is the return. Usually big holidays, Memorial Day, 4th of July, Labor Day. We hear a lot about 65 being a parking lot. Well, during those time periods, it certainly can be. I cannot tell you how many times I've gotten off 65 and gotten on 31 to complete my journey because it's incredible. And I know there's a lot of talk about expanding 65. Unfortunately, Gern, I don't think we're going to see that in our lifetime.
Well, the interesting debate I got into with a buddy of mine was, are there more tats on the Florida side or the Alabama side? And I really think it's a toss-up. I spent a little time in both. The tats on the Florida side are mostly military.
Oh, yeah,
they're
true.
Military.
Big naval presence.
The Alabama side, they're more like rebel flags and things like that. That's just kind of what you get.
Yeah, I told you about the tat that I saw on the back of this well, lady. I don't know if lady's the appropriate word, but I'll just use it to be nice. And she had a tattoo of her deceased mother's name on the top of her back. Standing in a bikini trying to pay her tab at Pirates Cove years ago. That's a great story. I'll save it for another day. But woo, yeah, that's you're probably right about that. Military tattoos on the Florida side, just random general stuff that probably spur of the moment. I think a lot of those tats were done without a lot of thought put into them. How about
maybe
that?
a little alcohol? You think a little alcohol in there?
Maybe just a little. But man, you're kind of bumming me out early on a Monday thinking about the traffic issues I might have to deal with.
Oh, it's a holiday week. We got to have good vibes for the holiday week. Everybody's looking for maybe a short week.
Yeah, and make sure you stock up on plenty of Bud Light for the 4th of July holiday weekend coming up. You don't want to be left short. Don't think you will be. They'll have plenty for you, but any of those great Anheuser-Busch products, make sure you stock up before the big celebration on the 4th. Yeah, I can't decide when the best time to get away from the traffic's going to be. I'm trying to kind of play that out. My second child, my youngest daughters, told me, I think we're coming down like Thursday. They're in Birmingham, leaving about 4:30. I went, oh, I might see you Friday morning. I mean,
we got two guests coming about the same time, and I'm like, see you at midnight.
Yeah, no kidding. My oldest child's obviously the smartest in DC. She's just flying into Pensacola. I'm gonna pick her up there. I went, yeah,
great airport, one of the best airports for its size. That
it really is.
Done a really good job with that. Totally. They're such a good airport that they caused Mobile to spend hundreds of millions of dollars to move their airport from out west downtown, because Pensacola's kicking their butts.
Yeah, so they have done a great job. And I tell you, Gern, when I was little, when I was, 14, 15 years old, I remember flying out of the Pensacola airport, and it was smaller than Montgomery's is today. And I don't know what's going on in Pensacola. I'm really trying to figure out where all these people are coming from that are going to Pensacola.
All right. So I'll tell you where they're coming from. If you drive down the interstate, you look over to the right, Navy Federal Credit Union has their headquarters there. They have 4,000 to 6,000 employees.
Wow.
4,000 to 6,000 people work at that complex. So, and then you got the military coming in and out. So it's crazy. And the beaches, people come to the beaches and all that.
Oh, yeah. Anyway. Well, it's kind of like the airport they built outside of Destin. Man, people are flocking in from New York, Chicago, Baltimore, Boston, Denver. It's now you're talking about a headache. Woo! Getting on 98 over there between Destin and Seaside.
Holiday Isle, a little Holiday Isle traffic.
Man, forget it. I mean, it is just bumper to bumper. So yeah, I mean, if you got some plans down at the beach, we don't want to bum you out, but that's what's happening. Let me check on the River Region Straw chat line. I see Theotis is up early today. Beds Are Burning is 40 years old. What group did that song?
Midnight Oil. I picked the name. Midnight Oil. Truly one of my one of my favorites from back in the day. So.
Way to go, Theotis. Traffic Trials and Tribulations. You got that right, John. Bill in Baltimore. Soccer yesterday, Bill. U.S. beat Costa Rica.
I watched it. I'm telling you, I know you're not an American football fan, John, but I clicked over. I somehow just have magic. I have magic in my clicker because I clicked over and it's penalty kicks. I mean, that's or in hockey when you've got the got the same kind of deal.
Sure,
it is. Penalty kicks are the greatest thing in all sport. I mean, there's nothing more exciting. And so we go through penalty kicks, and our guy stops one, and you're like, we got it. Here we go. It's like the third one. We got it. We're about to win. Of course, immediately they stop one of our guys. Ooh. So then it goes again, and our guy stops it, and then we kick it. We got on like the 6. They usually go 5 total, but I think they went 6. It was. And these are not like big name even for the soccer world right now, but it was pretty special. It was
So
exciting.
here's my problem with shootouts. We sit there and watch hour upon hour of soccer. Guys standing around that don't have the ball or are away from the ball, which the field's way too big. I could go on and on about soccer. But then after 3 or 4 hours, we have this shootout. We've been playing all this soccer, and then it boils down to 2 guys. I mean, what if basketball games were decided at the free throw line in overtime?
No, half-court shot.
I don't get it.
That's what you
Same
should do.
thing with hockey.
If it ties, you should line up and just start shooting half-court shots, and whoever makes the first one wins. I think that's the best way to do it.
Huh. I don't know. I don't know about the shootout, and I don't know. I've just never really big a big fan of that.
So,
John Dent.
That's like movies. You ever see like a movie that nothing happens? Nothing happens for 2.5 hours, and then like at the end, boom, something happens.
Yeah.
Crying Game, that Brad Pitt movie with about old Hollywood with Charles Manson, that movie. Nothing happens the whole movie, and then the last 5 minutes, all hell breaks loose.
I don't like those kind of movies either. That's why I like Bond movies, because there's always a big, great opening scene to hook you. You're ready to go. John Dent, you're right. It is known as a tramp stamp. I just was trying to be nice early this morning. Bill says he was in Ireland over the 4th of July many years ago, and they had a bar with folks dressed as Maverick and Rocky promoting half-off Bud Lights. Like Maverick from Top Gun and Rocky from the movie? I guess that's what he's talking about there. John with some more soccer take. So, yeah, get in on our River Region Straw chat line. We'd love to hear from you. You can always email us, Longshore and McKnight at gmail.com. Our Mark Reach Exquisite Jewelry email inbox there for you as well. A lot of things we're going to get to today. Obviously, we're just kind of, coming out with some of the topics of the day, so to speak, but we certainly have got a lot of things we're going to address. One big one that we're going to get into a little deeper after the first break is, some recruiting that certainly has been on a lot of people's minds over the last couple of weeks, last couple of days, with some commits coming in, some people electing to maybe go elsewhere. We talked a lot about that last week and how that's all playing out. I will say this, and we've talked about it a lot. Recruiting doesn't seem to be of interest like it used to be. And I don't know if it was more exciting or more interesting when you had your Forrest Davis magazine and your Tom Emfinger magazine and all these guys that were these recruiting gurus, and we had them on radio shows, and you called 900 numbers to get the scoop on who was going where. I thought with the internet age that maybe it would make it even more exciting. I think there was a time that it was, but I just don't get the feel that the vibe for recruiting is there like it used to be. Maybe because it's spread out all year. We got all these signing periods. We got all these recruiting periods, things like that. NIL, transfer portal, decommits, whatever. But I don't know if you ever followed recruiting, Gern, but just maybe from the outside looking in, what are your thoughts about where recruiting is today?
Recruiting, I mean, look at this. So Gern Jr. had a high school teammate when he was in the 8th grade. He lived in Dallas at the time. He got an offer from UCLA.
Yeah.
8th grade. And you see those from time to time. So that's when it kind of started. And that was 10 years ago. And now it starts so early. And like the guy Alabama got to commit from the Midwest, the quarterback, he's a 4-star, but he's got a chip on his shoulder because he's a late arrival, because he was going to Kansas State or wherever he was going, something like that. So it's all about the hype, what you can get. But why? Let me ask you this: why take a chance on a 3-star when you can go get a guy who's a 3-star who turns into a 5-star as a sophomore, who actually goes somewhere and plays? You can go pay him, have him come, and you've seen what he can do. You know he's tough. He was just went to a small high school in some state, and he just started out, at Jack State or at Troy or good level school, but then worked into a starting position freshman or sophomore year. and then he's gone. And that's what you want. So I guess the key is to get the 5-star and see if you can keep him, if he's real. And a lot of 5-stars they're real athletes. They're athletes because they grade it out. Whether they're real football players, is different once they get to that level.
Oh, sure.
But you have to, from a PR standpoint, you got to get the 5-star, 4-star, because that's how you're judged as a coach. Wins and losses, yeah, but that's another thing. Are you recruiting? Ask Dan Mullen about, whether he was recruiting or not. He said, we're playing football, we're not recruiting, and he lost his job.
Yeah.
So, it's a crazy.
It is. And you talk about the 3-star. We talked about this last week. Smaller schools, the Troys, South Alabamas, if you will, they're looking at those 3-stars that are on Alabama and Auburn and Georgia's list, because those are guys they can go get later on that might not be starting, might not have any type of NIL deal, things like that. They can come to a Sunbelt school and the like, and they can be the top dog there. So I think you're going to see a lot of that where, some of these smaller schools, if you will, might do a little poaching on some of these 3-stars, maybe even 4 that aren't getting what they thought they were getting, and could end up in a place like Troy, South Alabama, wherever, Appalachian State, some of those type schools. I think that could be very interesting as well. We mentioned, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think the most interesting thing to me will be this: is the SEC and the Big Ten poaching the ACC.
Mm-hmm.
ACC views themselves as an equal, but they're not. And so if you've got more teams getting the playoffs, more exposure, say somebody that's in NC State, or Virginia or wherever else like that, that's a good player and can double what they're making at those schools, they're going to go to an SEC or a Big Ten school.
Sure. Yeah, no doubt about that. Okay, getting it rolling here on a Monday. John wanting to know where Barry is. He's in Greensboro, North Carolina, getting a much-deserved Broadcaster of the Year award. They've got I believe a play-by-play from every state and also some other type of media member from the state as well. I think there's several from each state that will be recognized tonight. Mike Tirico is the MC tonight at this award ceremony. A lot of big names. This is pretty interesting because it's, big names you hear watching NFL football, NBA, Major League Baseball, as well as, guys that maybe do things at smaller schools. So it's a great way for all of them to come together in one big group. And Barry's extremely excited about it. He won't tell you that, but I know he is because he's really looking forward to going up there and being a part of this, and certainly very well-deserved, richly deserved for his great work for what he does at Troy and really the work he's done his entire career as a play-by-play personality. So he'll be back on Wednesday. I look forward to hearing all about that. I'm sure he's probably going to pop in and check in, seeing what's going on the show, seeing how Gurn Jr. sitting in for him today on the program. When we return after our first break, we're going to break down some of this recruiting. It was another big weekend for Kalen DeBoer and the Crimson Tide, picking up another 5-star yesterday. We'll tell you about that, along with everything else going on in recruiting. So many other things going on today as well, as you can count on. We'll have the Phantoms Daily Dog. We'll see how the Daily Dog did over the weekend on our Friday selection. Gurn Jr.'s Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel will be a part of the next hour as well. We have several other topics and / polls. It's POLLS that we're going to get in today as well. This is poll season. A lot of people have polls like ranking this and ranking that. We've certainly done some of it as well. We're going to have a little reaction also to buy, sell, and hold. I don't know, Gurn, if you were able to catch any of that on Friday about the buy, selling, and holding the 16 SEC football programs. Maybe get your thoughts on that today as well, see if there's any difference from what Barry and I had to maybe what you might think. So get in on the conversation. The chat line is always open, the River Region Straw chat line. Email Longshore McKnight at gmail.com. Back with more of Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light after this July the 7th is your last chance to take advantage of below employee pricing. Save thousands until July 7th at Stivers Ford in Montgomery. Up to $19,000 off new 2024 F-150s. That's up to $11K below employee pricing. Up to $15,000 off new 2024 Expeditions. That's up to $9K below employee pricing. And up to $11,000 off new 2024 Broncos. That's up to $8K below employee pricing. Take advantage of these and so many more offers during this incredible tariff buster pricing sale going on until July 7th at Stivers Ford in Montgomery, 4000 Eastern Boulevard.
On the basketball court, the soccer pitch, or even the golf course, your crew brings their best not just for the win, but for that post-game celebration. When victory tastes like Michelob Ultra, it's worth every drop of sweat. And if you don't win, you'll still get the beer. It's just on you. Superior is worth playing for. Michelob Ultra, 2.6 carbs, 95 calories. Superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2025, Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Located just 8 miles north of Alabama's state capital, Capitol Hill features 3 18-hole championship courses. With more than 1,500 acres of golf and nature, the pure magnitude of this facility is amazing and allows each course to be drastically different from the others. Capitol Hill also features an innovative 360-degree driving range, 400 yards in diameter. Capitol Hill offers a fully stocked pro shop with the latest equipment and apparel. Great food and beverages in the clubhouse can be enjoyed both before and after your round. Get your group together and hit the trail. Go to rtjgolf.com/Capitol Hill for tee times and more information. Okay, welcome back in, everybody. Glad you are with us here. It is a Monday here with Longshore McKnight. The last day of the month as well. Believe it or not, man, we're rolling into July. Things are moving along quite briskly. That means great deals going on out at Stivers Ford Montgomery and Stivers Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram at Prattville. Last day of the month, we tell you all the time, Advantage Car Buyer. They want to meet and exceed those monthly sales goals. How do they do that? By offering you the absolute lowest prices at either Stivers location here in the River Region. And also, don't forget, Employee Pricing Plus ends a week from today. July the 7th, last day for Employee Pricing Plus. That's below employee pricing is what that means. So you got one more week for that to go. Take advantage of it while it's still here. All right, so recruiting. Just checking out here what some of our chats are talking about before I move on. But basically, Alabama, let's just go quickly and tell you what happened. Another Gern, I get this. Ho-hum, another day, another 5-star. Whew, Bama fan, man, check yourself. But I guess there is something to be excited about. Xavier Griffin, the latest 5-star from Gainesville, Georgia. I'm kind of thinking, how did Kirby Smart let this guy out of his own state? I don't know. That's just the way I think. I'm thinking, wait a minute, how'd this happen? But Alabama has two 5-star players, both from the state of Georgia. Xavier Griffin, the latest commit, the linebacker, quarterback Jordan Edmonds from Sprayberry. Isn't that where the barbecue place is?
No, that's Noonan. It's Sprayberry's Barbecue in Noonan.
In Noonan. Okay. All right.
I don't know where Sprayberry may be a nearby community. I don't know. I thought that's a family name, but
it's in Marietta. It looks like the school he plays for. It might be called Sprayberry in Marietta. And then, of course, Xavier Crowell from Jackson, Alabama. 3 stars for the Crimson Tide at this point. So another big pickup for Kalen DeBoer. Alabama has the most 5-star players of anybody in the recruiting rankings at this point, for what that matters, with a total of 14 commitments. What I find to be interesting, a lot of things, Southern Cal currently is in the number 1 spot. Lincoln Riley has his Trojans at the number 1 spot for the 2026 team football recruiting rankings with 30 commitments, only 1 5-star, but 19 4-stars. Man, getting it done out there on the West Coast. Georgia.
We were on anxiety alert prior to the dead period because do you know what Alabama's recruiting ranking was?
Pretty bad.
40.
40. Yes.
It's now 8. And it's still way early. Way early. And you don't know. I mean, look, it's great to have the 5s and the 4s until they're on the dotted line, and actually until they're here in February or January or the summer. You don't know.
Point.
But it is nice to have. Now, if you go down that list, how many are from Alabama?
Well,
you got Jackson.
Yeah,
I think they're the Aggies. I think Jackson's the Aggies, but I'm not certain. They're down Highway 43. They're a 3A school, 3 or 4A school.
I believe so. Yep.
And then they have the kid. There's another D-line. There's a defensive player, right, that is committed from Alabama. But there aren't many. It's mostly out of state, which is
they got a defensive lineman from Muscle Shoals,
right.
Camarion Johnson, I think is how his name is pronounced. You know, Gern, my deal with that is, and what Alabama's currently at 14, I believe it right now. Got a young man from Hillcrest in Tuscaloosa. Got a young man from Cincinnati, Ohio, Tampa, Florida, Indianapolis, Indiana, Muscle Shoals, Atlanta, Orange, California, Omaha, Nebraska, Gainesville, Georgia, Dunlop, Illinois, Gadsden, Alabama, Jackson, Alabama, Gainesville, Georgia, Marietta, Georgia. So, yeah, a nice variety. Man, my thing's been all along, get the best player, no matter where.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, get the best player. But I do think it's encouraging that, you know, they're getting back into Alabama and making some headway there, as well as in the state of Georgia. That's never, until Nick Saban came to Alabama, Georgia just didn't seem to be a very fertile recruiting ground for the Crimson Tide. It's certainly turning in to be.
It was for Auburn, though. Auburn, Georgia was, I mean, I would say half the roster at one point was it was from Georgia. Half the starters anyway.
No doubt. So certainly making a lot of inroads in the state of Georgia and elsewhere. And I think you're going to see them continue to recruit nationally. Georgia, meanwhile, is in the number 2 position as of today with 24 total. Notre Dame, Texas A&M. Man, they got to start delivering. I don't know what's going on out there in College Station, but, man, they just cannot deliver. Basketball program kind of fluttered. Baseball did too. Football team hasn't lived up to expectations.
All right. Here's 2 things I'm looking at because I like the kind of the weird story is that we've got 2 quarterbacks that are from Alabama that are going to, I say high profile. They're definitely been talked about. There's a kid named Trent Seaborn that's at Thompson, and he's been the quarterback. I want to say I watched him in the state playoffs in the 8th grade. And Thompson's, you know, a powerhouse program. So to play in the 8th grade, that's a pretty big deal. So he's kind of a big name. His name's out there. The other is Philip Rivers' son, Gunner, who plays at St. Michael's down in Baldwin County. Yeah. And if you'll remember, Philip Rivers' dad was coach. Philip Rivers desperately, he wasn't getting recruited. He didn't get recruited by Alabama. He desperately wanted to go to Auburn. Mm-hmm. He wanted to go to Auburn more than anything else, supposedly. Ends up going to NC State. He may have started as a freshman. I mean, he killed it at NC State and obviously played in the NFL for 15 years, a long time. And he's now the head coach at St. Michael's, which is a Catholic school that spun off of McGill in Mobile to be they're 6A now. They're huge. Anyway, but that'll be an interesting see who takes a flyer on Philip Rivers' son just with upside potential, even if he's not a 5-star. So, well,
the young kid at Thompson right now, what grade will he be in going into this fall?
I think he's either a junior, he's either going to be a junior or going to be a senior. I think he may be going to be a junior. I'm not certain.
I think so too.
he's still getting recruited. He's national type guy.
Yeah, certainly. To me, it kind of seems like he's a junior as well. Don't hold me to that, but that just kind of rings a bell. I think, that's going to be real interesting. His recruitment, which is currently going on, and I'm certainly schools are certainly getting in front of him as much as they can, and where he ends up, that'll be interesting to say the least. Curtis chimes in on our River Region Straw chat line saying, why does stars matter right now? These kids still have another year of high school ball to play. Curtis, come on. I mean, here it is about to be July the 1st. I get it. When you've got to click the load more button to find out where some of these other schools are, like Auburn at the 64th position today. I get it, Curtis. It's okay. 0 5 stars, 3 4 stars currently at the moment, the way it looks to me. So you're right. Things will get better. They're going to move up. It's okay that, the Gus Malzahn's former schools, Central Florida and Houston and Appalachian State and Maryland and Duke and South Florida. I could go on, are rated higher than Auburn currently. It's not going to matter when, as Gurn said, the ink is drying on the paper. That's when we want to see where Auburn ends up at that time and at that point. So, no, you're right. No big deal. But I guess in early July, it gives, certain fan bases something to maybe get excited about.
Well, let me ask you this. Is there a fan base that's more anxious than Auburn? And I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean, there is legitimate reason to be encouraged. The talent's better. The coach is a proven winner. They've got a quarterback that is a little bit unproven, but he's very solid. Much more solid than they've had in the past.
True.
They've got a young quarterback that's got promise. So, I mean, it's a time to be excited. And, I'm sure y'all talk about this all the time, but what is excitement? What's a happy feeling for Auburn next year? Is it 9-3? You've got to be very excited.
I mean, is that a loaded question or what? I mean, beating Alabama.
It's softball season.
Yeah, beating Alabama. Yeah, in the end of November would be great. But I know where you're going. I'm with you, and I'm trying to think of maybe another school, and certainly nobody pops out like Auburn. They don't need to have their fourth losing season in a row. It's been tough. I mean, I've heard people say, Auburn's kind of fallen off the radar. Nationally, people just don't think about them. They're not in the conversation. And I was reading Philip Marshall yesterday. Obviously, I was. His Sunday musings. And he kind of touched on, Auburn doesn't need to have another season like they've had the last 3. Really the last 5 or so, with Harsin in the last 2 with Freeze and probably Malzahn's last year as well. So it's been a tough run, and they've kind of fallen out of the, elite branch of college football. We've looked at their schedule. They need to win in Waco in week 1. That's huge. The back-to-back away games at Oklahoma and Texas A&M, I think, are really big. But after that home game against Georgia, if they can navigate the first part of their schedule, and after Georgia comes to Jordan-Hare, Missouri, Arkansas, Kentucky, Vanderbilt, and Mercer before they end up with Alabama, if they get through the first part of that schedule in good shape, better shape than they thought, I mean, this could really be a pretty good year for Auburn.
Absolutely. And it's one of those that if they do that, that means they've had 1 or 2 good wins in the first half of the season.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And that's the kind of thing that turns a program around. I mean, that's the kind of thing that gets people excited talking about you nationally, because every game's going to be on TV. Some of them more exposure than others, depending on who they're playing. And if they beat somebody good early on an afternoon game or, a higher profile game, then that kind of leapfrogs you forward, right?
Sure. Yeah, no doubt. But you've heard it as well. Is it a bigger year for DeBoer or for Freeze? I see the debate. I see the argument. Alabama doesn't need to miss the playoff again. Alabama doesn't need to lose to teams as a double-digit favorite, which they are against Florida State in week 1. We saw them lose as double-digit favorites in Norman and in Nashville. But if I had to, if you pin me down on it, I don't think Auburn's getting rid of Freeze. I mean, unless they go 3-8, something like that, 3-9 now, I guess. I just don't see them getting rid of him. There's been too much. They just hadn't been stable. They need some stability over there. And I know going, 7-5 is not very stable, but it's a lot better than trying to reinvent the wheel and get a whole new staff over there. So I just don't lean.
It's going to be the eye test. You're going to look at it and say, yeah, we're making progress, and this is a good year. Or, we're going in the right direction. And that's why you can't have, once you get past the 2-year grace period, you can't have 2 bad years. That kind of tells you it's not turning around.
They can't lose games that they've lost in the last couple of seasons that they should have won, that Freeze for some reason, bad communication, bad coaching decision, whatever. Got to eliminate that. And you're right, the eye test. And the games that they do lose this season got to be competitive. Can't get blown out. Got to be able to look like they should be on the same field with the teams that that do beat them. So I think you're right about that. Hey, our friend Jason down in Troy talking about recruiting. He says the recruiting talk is down because teams have to recruit their rosters more than anything else. You're right. You got to re-recruit your roster, your players. A lot of teams kind of doing a little tampering and they're noodling around with your roster and things like that. We hear a lot about that, and that just never was the case back in the day when we were growing. You didn't have to re-recruit your roster. I mean, once you got them, you had them. But, yeah, now you got to make sure you're keeping your kids there, and that ain't easy.
They were happy with what you were giving them back in the day.
No kidding.
I mean, that's the bottom line. They were happy. They didn't know any better. Now somebody else is getting a phone call and says, hey, the deal you're getting is not as good as one you can get better. So grass is greener. Go.
Well, back in the day when you could give them a shopping spree at T-Town Menswear or Mojo's Wheels and Curb Feelers and all that kind of stuff, they were happy. Send them on a deep sea fishing trip,
It was usually a paper bag. It was a paper bag, not a plastic bag, because you didn't want to see what was in it. Rolled up paper bag. Come on.
Yeah, an old kind of had a little wear to it.
Had a little grease on it. Had a little grease on it.
Like you bought some fries at Five Guys. Yeah. Exactly. It wasn't a bag. It was in a brown paper. Or wasn't there a school that got busted using a McDonald's bag?
Sounds familiar.
Did Kentucky get in some trouble putting some money in a McDonald's bag or something, if I remember? I thought it was something like that. But yeah, I get it. I get the drift here. As Curtis says, they're eager, not anxious. I understand. Where will these recruiting rankings all shake out when it's said and done? Maybe that's one of the reasons I've never been a recruiting buff. I mean, I know friends of mine that have followed it as closely as you can, love it, chart it all out, and that's great. I get it. I just have never, been that excited about it. My thing has always been, let's go back 2 years after signing day and see how well this class shaped up and shaped out. Now, obviously with Saban and some of the classes he had, they really, the proof was in the pudding. Maybe not so much back in the magazine days, as I call it, of recruiting. Maybe now it's a lot more streamlined and structured and people know what's going on more. I don't know, but let's just tap the brakes. It's fun to talk about now, and I know there's some excitement and giddiness, and I think, no doubt, I think Bama fans going, wow, doesn't look like we're dropping off much in recruiting, and I know that's a positive. And for Bama fans' sake, I hope it stays that way so you don't panic and jump ship or whatnot. And there again, I think Auburn's going to, I got faith in Freeze. I was a big proponent of Auburn hiring Freeze. I thought he was the best fit, knew the league, knew what Auburn wanted. Didn't realize he played as much golf as he does, but, so what? Maybe he'll get that figured out, and those recruiting rankings will start skyrocketing. All right, let's take another break. It is break number 2 for our first hour today. Gurn Jr. Back at the controls at Network Control. Gurn Sr. sitting in for Barry, who is at the National Broadcasters Awards in Greensboro, North Carolina. So he'll be back on Wednesday on the show. But we're rocking and rolling here on this Monday. A lot of great chats coming in. You can get in on our River Region Straw chat line at any time today. We'd love to hear what you have to say about that. All right, Longshore McKnight, presented by Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Rolls on right after this quick timeout. Why Hands? At Hands Heating and Air, you get this area's highest ranked service provider with 24-hour repair service, no overtime charges, and their same-day service guarantee. Plus, instead of other companies' 30-day repair warranty, Hands gives you a 3-year repair warranty. Hands Heating and Air is here for you 24/7, 365. And service is not just something they do, it's their way of operating, for you in mind. All of Hands employees are trained to adhere to this standard. They work hard to ensure that this standard is maintained, and they are constantly looking for new ways to better serve you. Call Hands Heating and Air today at 508-5382. That's 508-5382, or find them on the web at 834hands.com.
The following is a message from the Bud Light Party.
July 4th is the most demanding holiday of the year. Justine just wants a half. Alex needs a hot dog without a bun. And Rose says her homemade veggie burgers taste just like the real thing. So this July 4th, stock up on a sure thing. Bud Light. It's a 4th of July fixture everyone can agree to agree on. This message approved by the Bud Light Party. Raise one to right now. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, AB, St. Louis, Missouri.
Dixie Electric Plumbing and Air rallies for you. No matter the problem, Dixie will tackle it. They're licensed and trusted electricians, plumbers, air and garage door technicians are ready to win for you. From toilets to garbage disposals, circuit breakers to HVAC systems, Dixie never fumbles. Don't throw away your hard-earned money on second-string contracting companies. Score big with Dixie. After all, they are your biggest fan. Visit calldixie.com or dial them up locally at 262-2946. All right, welcome back in, everybody. Glad you're with us. About 17 minutes to the top of the hour on this Monday. Always remember, you can check us out at Yellowhammer News and yellowhammernews.com. There's video content there for you. Also a write-up each and every afternoon about what we did on the show earlier in the day. So check it out at yellowhammernews.com for all of your news, politics, lifestyle, and sports. It's a great source for all of your news to stay updated. Yellowhammernews.com. You can also check us out on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, Spotify, where there are so many platforms for you to check us out. We really appreciate that. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We really appreciate it. You'll never miss any content. Gurn, do you remember a delicatessen here in town years ago called Joe's Deli?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Our man John on the chat line wanted to know if Joe's Deli is still on Fairview down from the old Sears building. John, I don't know how long it's been since you've been in Montgomery, but Joe's was on Fairview Avenue for a long, long time. Then they moved to Zelda Place. They were there on Zelda Road for a while. Unfortunately, Joe's Deli is no longer in Montgomery. Where the old Joe's was on Fairview is actually that whole strip finally is being reconfigured and revamped and remodeled and renewed. There's going to be a lot of exciting things there on that strip there on Fairview where Joe's Deli once was.
So I travel Fairview a lot because that's how I go home from pickleball many afternoons.
Yeah.
And it has been a disaster, but it's a good disaster. They've been repaving and resurfacing, and it's almost there. And it's a good entrance and exit to the city. There's been several upgrades to some of the strips there. Fairview's, that side of Fairview's really picked up, and then as you get closer in, John, you probably speak this more. The Cloverdale part of Fairview is there. I think there's a lot of stuff about to happen. It's been a lot of stuff about to happen for a long time.
Sure.
But I think that stretch is about to get built out, right?
Yeah, it's under construction as we speak. I guess it's a section there where Cloverdale and Woodley Road meet Fairview up till about Bull Tier. They're doing a really good job there, getting that renewed and revamped. There's a lot of new businesses going in there, which I think will really help that area. It's something that's been needed for years. Excited all about that. So should be good stuff. So, John, unfortunately, Joe's Deli is no longer here. They did have great hamburgers. One of the first places I ever got a pastrami burger, which was pastrami on the hamburger.
Like that. That was early.
Have you ever had peanut butter on a hamburger?
Absolutely. I love it. It's almost like a Thai. You put a little chili sauce on it too. You give a little, you feel like you're in Bangkok.
Yeah. I mean, the peanut butter burger. Now, I'm a big fan of the egg eye burger, which was famous at Quick Snack across the street from the fraternity house when we were in school.
Rudy could cook up a pretty mean egg eye burger.
Yeah.
All right, John. Don't want to miss this because this happened yesterday.
Let's hear it.
And it's not talked about a lot, and it's the NBA. And let me tell you what about the NBA. Do you know what happened over the weekend?
Well, I did see former Alabama player Colin Sexton got traded.
Colin Sexton, that was number 2. Okay, he got traded to Charlotte. His contract is $18 a year, so he's making $72 over 4 years.
Yeah,
okay?
Wow.
He's had an unbelievable career. He's averaging 19 points a game, and you never hear about it. I mean, just having a great career. This is the one that just absolutely blew me away. Not even a starter. Jabari Smith from Auburn signed a contract for $112 million.
Man.
4-year, $112 million, Jabari Smith. And he had a broken hand last year. And he averaged 12 points.
Obviously, I see a lot of upside for him. I did see that.
They signed Kevin Durant. They have a really good young team, but that's a lot of cabbage.
No. Where did Jabari play before he got to Houston?
No, he's always been in Houston.
Always been in Houston. They just re-signed him for $115 million.
They signed. This is his rookie extension. And all right, so there's a guy. You really need to know about this guy. Dylan, I think it's Dylan Furtati. He owns the Landry Seafood restaurants. He owns the Rockets, and he is the guy who has made the University of Houston. I mean, he is their number one NIL guy.
Okay.
So you go to Houston, and I got put up in a hotel one time there called the Post Oak. And it's his hotel. It's a luxury hotel. It's like you're in Beverly Hills with all the athletes. They're all there, all the stars, all the music stars, everything. There is a Rolls-Royce dealership in this hotel.
Whoa.
And it's owned by this guy, Dylan Furtati. And you walk into the room, and it has his book. He has a book about himself. And on the TV, it has all about his business enterprises. Amazing guy. But he's opened up the cash out there.
So former Auburn basketball player Jabari Smith, who was not a starter, has been re-signed by the Houston Rockets for $115 million. Wow. I mean, how impressive.
Actually, it's 112, but what's 2 or 3 million?
Yeah.
The difference? Yeah.
No kidding. I mean, whew, man, that's pretty good stuff if you can get it.
Look, he's damn good. I mean, when he was in college, you just saw he was different. It's like Brandon Miller at Alabama. They were just different. They're big and they can shoot, and they,
All right, let me ask you this then. And I don't know the inner dealings of an NBA team. And I'm sure there's probably some people out there in our viewing and listening audience that didn't even realize Charlotte had an NBA team. They do. They do. They were originally the Bobcats. Then somehow the Hornets got to New Orleans. Well, I think we were at a game together.
What's the what were the dance team? Were the Honeybees or something?
The Honeybees,
like that.
Yeah. And then they gave Charlotte the Hornet name back, and then that's when New Orleans took the Pelican name. But my question being, with Brandon Miller, a shooting guard, I heard him described as that in an article I read today about this trade, basically the same position that Colin Sexton plays. So how do they get those two guys on the floor at the same time?
Brandon can play a three, which is a small forward too. He's big. I mean, he can fill it up. Colin can handle the ball. I mean, look, bad teams need good players.
Yeah, no doubt.
They're a bad team, and they need good players. And their best player is a guy who's been hurt, Lonzo Ball. One of the Ball brothers. But if they're hurt, there's nothing you can do about it. So
yeah. Well, that's an interesting move. I saw that earlier today.
That was 4 minutes. 4 minutes on the NBA in the end of June. That's not about playoffs. So I wanted to get that out there.
Well, have you got any WNBA news for us?
Actually, what's her name? I'm trying to think. The girl from LSU broke a rebounding record yesterday.
Oh wow!
Caitlin Clark has a groin injury.
Let me ask you this:
females get groin injuries? I don't.
No, I never heard of that before.
But I'm sure they. I mean, anyway, that's the whole.
Let me ask you this: is the WNBA, kind of quietly suggesting to their players, rough it up a little bit? We need some exposure. We need to get on Sports Center. Some pushing, some shoving. Maybe a cheap shot here and there. Gurn Jr. with the I hope this wasn't part of the topic, Will. We jumped in.
No, I'd have heard about it if that's the case. Angel Reese got a double-double, and she and Caitlin are the hot sophomores now, and they're killing it. I don't know. I'll say this. It's like women's basketball is kind of like the NBA was in the 80s and 90s. It's rough. I mean, remember the Detroit Pistons, if you ever watched that, or The Last Dance with Jordan and all that, you saw how physical it is. They don't have a lot of movement because they're not as fast, but it's more shooting. And if somebody brings it in the lane, they're going to crack. You bring it in the lane, you're going to get cracked. And that's just what happens. And they've got some really good physical female centers and big forwards they'll crack you.
Yeah. Ain't no doubt about it. And certainly from what I understand, the ratings are higher. People like a little pushing and shoving. I certainly do. I've never had a problem with that. But yeah, that's some pretty good NBA news. I wasn't expecting it. Were you surprised at where some players went in the draft and maybe how long it took them to get drafted?
No, the draft is now 2 rounds. Back they had 5 or 6 rounds back in the day. You get drafted. Now it's about freedom of movement. Get you the G League. Get you a 2-way contract, and you have to be somebody that they feel confident. I mean, really confident that you will start or make a lasting contribution. Like Herb Jones got drafted because they knew he was going to play a lot as a defender. You have to be that person. And if you're not that person, then the free agency, G League, all that's where you go. That's where you earn it. And even some of the guys in the second round will spend a lot of time in the G League. So
what about I can't say I'm surprised, but what's the future for Mark Sears?
Well, I mean, look, Mark Sears is 6'1" at best. And you go down the list, how many 6'1s are there? Every team that was in the final 6 or 8 had one guy who could shoot, handle the ball, and a hustle guy. And so, yeah, you can make it, but there are a lot of guys out there like that. So the competition's tight. It's like how many goalies are there? How many soccer, hockey goalies, lacrosse? There's only one goalie. Really, there's only one, what I call fungible point guard who can't, play D and drive. So it is definitely tough, and it'll be interesting. He will still be playing in 4 years. Where he's playing, I don't know. He's definitely good enough to play in the G League for a long time because he can score, he can dish. He's got all that it takes.
What kind of money you making in the G League?
Huh?
What kind of money you making in the G League?
Not as much as he made last year.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
It's significantly lower. And you got to live on it. $500,000 contract is nothing. Half of it goes to taxes. You got to get a new car. You got to get, it doesn't go very far. You got to live on it.
Yeah.
So it's really just getting there, making some headway, then hope you make a roster. And it'll be what's fun. Now, you will not watch a minute of this. Okay. I promise you will not watch a minute of this TV, but I will, because I like this kind of stuff. The Las Vegas rookie camps, they'll have a summer league. It's called Las Vegas Summer League. They'll play some in California, but most of it's in Las Vegas.
Yep.
And it'll be all these guys, and they'll have all the top prospects will play maybe 1 or 2 games. And to watch them play, but also to watch the Sears and everybody else that got drafted. I bet Janai Broom plays every game in Summer League. They're not going to shut him down. They're going to see what he can do. That's kind of fun, because then you'll see a guy who you hadn't seen in a couple of years. And I can't even remember the guy's name from Alabama that plays for Sacramento, who just is about to sign another good contract. That was, a good player for Alabama, but he's made a roster. He's the second. He's been on there for 2 years, and last year he averaged double digits, maybe, or close to it. And he's about to sign a contract with somebody. So you hang around and do some good things, you're all right.
Okay, so I'm gonna call you out on this one. I am sending Gurn Jr. a video that I took. And as soon as he can I just texted it to him. As soon as he can get this up on the screen, I am going to prove you wrong about what you were just talking about.
I'm talking about this summer.
Oh, this summer. Well, I have a history of this summer league stuff. So here we go. So Gurn's got the
LeBron. Hey, Brian.
Well, there's LeBron James, and who was the other guy that played for the Pelicans, and then they traded him to the Lakers, to the left.
Davis.
Anthony Davis. He's in the white jumpsuit.
He's now with the Dallas Mavericks.
Yes,
he's now with the Dallas Mavericks.
So I'm looking at the timestamp. That was July the 6th of 2019. And wow. I took my oldest daughter to Vegas. I told her when she was old enough to shoot the dice, I would take her to Vegas. We did. I will admit, I had no clue the summer league was going on while we were there. I'll go ahead and confess. But they were. And you could bet on the summer league games. When you walk into a sports book, all the games are listed. So we are in the kind of the mall, the shopping area there at the Wynn Casino.
Right.
And Anthony Odom and LeBron are walking down this shopping area, and they both walked into the Rolex store, a jewelry store just for Rolex. It was a Rolex store.
Good day for that salesman.
The two of them walked in there. They shut the doors. Nobody else could go in. Just the two of those guys are shopping for Rolexes. We didn't stand around long, but maybe, 10 minutes. They were still in there. I said, I've had enough of this. Let's move on. So I did not see what they actually purchased, but obviously you can see there's a security force with them as they're walking down this area. Because this is like 10:30, 11 o'clock in the morning. So, people most people hadn't even gotten up yet in Vegas. So the early risers were able to see these guys. But yeah, you got to brush with greatness with Anthony.
And you were rolling in off the buffet, and after rolling the dice all night.
Yeah.
Look. All right, so before the break, I got to tell you the Anthony Davis story that involves Gurn Jr. So it's been a while now. It's probably been 13, 14 years ago. Gurn Jr. got to be a ball boy at the SEC basketball tournament in New Orleans. So I took him to New Orleans. He was a ball boy. It went really well. Two things happened there. First was he got to see his first person tased in the quarter.
Oh,
that was shocking.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a whole nother story. The second thing is it was LSU was really good.
Yeah.
I mean, Kentucky was really good, and they're number one in the country. Vanderbilt makes it to the finals against them in the SEC tournament and actually wins. And Gurn Jr. makes a poster and takes it, and it was two big eyes and two big eyebrows, and it says, "Don't fear the brow." So if you remember, Anthony had the unibrow.
Yeah.
And so that was the big thing. Everybody wanted to cut the brow, but he was just one single brow across.
Sure.
So
yeah.
That was a little bit of Anthony Davis history in the Matthews family. So anyway.
I love it. That is hilarious. I've also sent Gurn another picture proof of my visit to Vegas, the trip that I made there in Vegas. Maybe he can pop that one up for you as well here after the LeBron James video. I'd forgotten I had that on my phone. I'm glad I was able to pull that one up. How about this one, Gurn? Proof there I'm with Elvis. I'm there with Elvis in Vegas.
You got to love. Now there wasn't a sign.
That picture cost me $5.
Well, that's about to say there wasn't a sign behind it that said, "Hey, pictures with Elvis, $5."
No, he just kind of, as I was walking away, hey, how about something for the effort? So
I'll leave you with this. Hey, we'll go to break with this one. No, John, our mutual friend Pork Chop, we went on an African safari, and he had his Christmas card was a picture with him and a native.
Yeah.
Okay?
Oh, I remember that.
Which is all well and good, except for the fact that behind him there was a sign that said "Pictures with native, $20." It totally ruined. He didn't see it, and so it totally ruined the effect.
Oh, I can just imagine. That is classic. All right, when we return, Robbie from Greenville has chimed in with a couple of questions. We're going to try to help Robbie out here this morning on the program. Gurn Sr. sitting in for Barry, who is at a Broadcasters Award presentation today and tomorrow in Greensboro, North Carolina. So very happy about that for Barry. Looking forward to hearing all about it on Wednesday when he returns. We got a lot more going on here today on Longshore McKnight. Don't go anywhere. Back with more after this quick timeout.
Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry, Pepper Tree Center next to Chappie's Deli in Montgomery, Alabama. Marianne is with us from Marguerite's. Marianne, here we are in the middle of summer. I know a lot of people like to spend summertime kind of cleaning things out and getting things out of their house. Marguerite's is a perfect place for those people who want to sell their jewelry or at least, maybe their silver or their platinum or something like that. You guys can take care of that at Marguerite's. Am I right?
Most definitely. You can get a little extra vacation cash or just a little fun money to go along because the cost of gold is up now, like record highs. So take advantage of that. Come into Marguerite's, and if you're not sure if it is gold, platinum, or silver or not, just come in. We are happy to look at it. There's no charge. There's no obligation. Just bring in your precious metals, and we can tell you, we test it and let you know. We weigh it. We give you an amount. So, I mean, again, like broken chains or random, like cluster ring that you're not the biggest fan of, just bring it in. We'll take it and give you a value. And we give you times and a half if you decide to use it as in-store credit. So if you find something pretty while we're weighing or testing your jewelry, then guess what? You've got way more going towards it than you had before.
I can imagine that some people kind of put that type of thing off or are a little bit intimidated because they don't really know what to do. They don't have a friend in the jewelry business. And I've always said at Marguerite, you always have a friend in the jewelry business. The process is painless, and you're ensured that you're going to get the top dollar for the value of your piece, right?
Most definitely. We update our market and metal values daily. We will weigh it 100% honest. There's no appointment needed. That's a question that I get asked a lot too. So you don't have to call ahead. You don't have to make an appointment. We're open 7 days a week in Pepper Tree. You just have to come through the door, and there'll always be somebody with a smile to help you sort your jewelry and get the amount that you're due.
Yeah, it's going to be so much fun later on that when you've gone through that process and you smile at yourself when you're at the beach or you're on vacation somewhere with that extra cash and say, boy, I'm glad I left that up to the professionals at Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry. What's their first step, Marianne? Just walk through?
Exactly. Just walk through the door. Bring your stuff. Again, if you're not sure if it's costume, no worries. We'll take it from there.
Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Pepper Tree Center next to Chappie's Deli on Vaughn Road in Montgomery, Alabama. Marianne, always a pleasure. Thanks for the time.
Thanks.
Okay, welcome back in, everybody. A couple of minutes after the top of the hour. Gurn Sr. sitting in today. Barry out today and tomorrow. Be back on Wednesday. Always enjoy having Senior here with us talking
Hey, John.
All the topics of the day. Yep.
Hey, John, coming back in from that break, I just want to tell my Marguerite story.
Oh, let's hear it.
We had my longtime assistant retired after 20 years working for me, and so the firm was nice enough to put a little cabbage toward a very nice gift. So I went in. Mrs. Gurn and I went in to Marguerite's and said hello to Lyle, and then got help by. We talked to Marianne, but we got help by another lady who actually just grew up in Greenville. And man, they crushed it. We got these unbelievable earrings that she loves and just cherishes. And damn if they didn't get another purchase out of us as well.
Sure,
so
they did.
It's like so the little lady needed a little love too. So it's hard not to go in there. So go in there and make sure you get you something, because they got really great stuff, and you can see them back in the back making stuff. I mean, they really are out back there making it, which it's not common in this area. It's just not.
Well, it's a craft and a skill, and they certainly have it there at Marguerite. You're right. I'm telling you, go by and see them there on Vaughn Road in Pepper Tree. You'll be glad that you did at Marguerite's Exquisite Jewelry. They make it. They really make it. Hey, Robbie down in do you ever see Robbie down in Greenville, Gurn?
I'm a nights and weekends guy.
Yeah.
So it's hard. I don't get to spend. I love the town I live in. I seem to go past it on the way more than I spend time there. But
yeah. Well, Robbie, we talked about Jackson High School. Alabama, of course, getting a commitment from the talented running back there. Robbie says Jackson's is a 4A who won the state title last year. He said they're loaded again this year. Greenville used to play Jackson every year when the Aggies were 5A. Robbie, thank you so much for that. Robbie also wants to know, and I mentioned this because Dennis Mitchell wants to know about it as well, Phil Steele. Robbie wants to know when Phil Steele's going to join the show. He is scheduled to be on sometime next week, the week of July the 7th, which, of course, is a week from today. Don't know if it's going to be on Monday, but Phil's going to join us sometime next week on the program. He, of course, has the absolute best. I'm just not saying that because he comes on with us. I think you would agree as well out there. Phil has the most concise, put together, most informative preseason college football magazine I have ever read. And when we were at SEC Media Days, it happens every year as I'm walking around. All of these sports writers, all of these sports reporters have their Phil Steele magazine with them. They live by it.
Well, that's a good segue just for a brief discussion. I mean, you got to start getting a little bit excited for media days. It's only 2 weeks. It's 2 weeks, right?
It is 2 weeks. 2 weeks from today. It
2 weeks from today.
Yep.
In Atlanta. Has it been in Atlanta before?
It has. It has been in Atlanta a couple of times.
Okay.
I know they don't really
same spot,
College Football Hall of Fame. And the Omni Hotel is right there, and the College Football Hall of Fame is connected to it. I know they're not asking me, Gern, but it's not one of my favorite spots for it. I don't think it's laid out well. It's kind of confusing getting from one area to the other. I'm not real, they call it the digital media. They don't call it Radio Row anymore. Why? Because radio is dead, and they call it the digital area now. So that's where we will be, along with everybody else that does things similar to us. I guess there's a couple of people still doing radio. I don't know, but they are.
But no real fans.
Well, they will let fans, like at the entrance of the College Football Hall of Fame, you'll see some gathered there, but nothing like it was up in Birmingham at the Winfrey, which, you've heard me talk about that as well. To me, it was an Alabama pep rally instead of an SEC media days. I guess they did take my advice on that one. And certainly it was convenient for us having it up in Hoover, but I think the event had just grown too big for those accommodations. It just, with the SEC being there, ESPN doing Sports Center there, just way too many people for that location to accommodate. I'll be interested, Gerd, to see where they announce next year's media days will be. They usually do that, kind of, let you get ready for next year. I'm kind of thinking Nashville's probably going to be back on the rotation again. It was there a couple of years ago. I think Nashville did a really good job, as did Dallas. I thought Dallas did a great job. So I'll be interested to see where that plays out. I was thinking of other towns that might be able to host media days, and one that kind of popped up that I've never really thought about is Jacksonville, Florida.
Jacksonville is a great town. It's actually not as easy to get to as some other places. That's why I could see actually Orlando versus Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Orlando, they could stick it at one of those. We have our firm retreat down. There's two major resorts there. That one where they play the parent-child thing over Thanksgiving. They're identical, and they're a large conference center type place. There's a Gaylord's down in Orlando too.
Yeah,
so if you're looking for something like that, I mean, you could do it. It's just, do they do it St. Louis? Do they toss a bone to Missouri?
Yeah,
I don't
they had
know.
a basketball tournament out there at one time that didn't go over.
I don't think so for football, but Nashville's centrally located. Dallas is easy to get to. It's high profile, the Atlanta, Dallas, Nashville kind of corridor. That makes sense. So
yeah, I just kind of wondered about Jacksonville. I know they're doing a huge redevelopment down there on the waterfront as the stadium's getting redone as well. Maybe in a couple of years that will be an option. People have wondered about New Orleans forever. I guess the league doesn't want all their sports writers hanging out all night, not showing up the next morning, I guess, maybe if they had it in New Orleans. But we'll see. I think Nashville is probably primed to do it again. Is Broadway finished? I mean, last time I was up there, the construction was terrible.
It doesn't matter. It's a total cluster up there. We went up. I had a meeting up there, and we had a dinner. Okay. The dinner started at 7:00 on a Sunday night.
Excuse me.
Dinner's at 7:00 on a Sunday night. It's downtown. We finished at 9:30. And I'm thinking this place is going to be dead. I walked out. We were in a side room. I walked out. The whole restaurant was packed. I then went out to Broadway, packed on a Sunday night at 9:30 or 10:00.
Oh,
where
yeah.
would you, if you were in Montgomery, Alabama, or Birmingham, Alabama, where would you go eat at 9:30 on a Sunday night other than Waffle House?
I'm about to say Waffle House.
There's no place open, and they're jamming. And it's on a Sunday night. So every night of the week, you can't even tell what day of the week it is. People are coming, and they're coming. and it's just crazy down there.
It is. I mean, Nashville is exploding. It really is. It's incredible. But man, we were up there for media days a couple of years ago. I mean, we had to go around so many areas to get back into Broadway. They were doing something to a bridge or something over there. But hey, they're growing. I know they're doing the best they can with that, no doubt. Hey, Mal chimes in today. Yeah, Mal says, John, I was out of town and didn't watch any games. Did the Braves go on another run this weekend? Ooh, Mal. I don't think they did. I was checking the Braves.
They won Saturday.
They did win Saturday. I think they lost 2 or 3 to the Phillies at home.
Grand slam on Saturday.
Ooh, not good. Not good. I did check one of the scores out I thought was real interesting. They got beat 13-0 on Friday. 13-0.
It's the largest. I think it was the largest road sweep or road blanking ever. They were at home. That was the other team's largest road blanking. So, yeah, Phillies. But yeah,
I mean,
sorry, I'm gonna ask. All right, I got to ask you.
It's like 42-0 in football.
All right, I got to ask you a question. I want you to be honest.
Okay.
All right, I'm serious. I want you to think hard. I want you to think deep.
All right.
What in your childhood caused you to hate baseball like it was? Were you like playing Little League baseball and somebody hit you or the coach was mean to you? Because there's obviously some things ingrained in your memory that causes you to have this dislike of baseball.
Well, to answer multiple part answer here. I never grew up playing youth baseball.
There you go.
I played.
And you call yourself an American.
Yeah.
And you call yourself an American.
But I've got a story behind it. I grew up playing Y football, loved it, played YMCA football all through grammar school, played YMCA basketball, loved it. But when summer rolled around, Pops did not have any desire to be out at the Buddy Watson of the day or whatever the ballpark was called. There was one actually on Fairview Avenue down here, about close part of Cloverdale. There was one behind Danley School, but Pops wasn't about to spend summers watching baseball. So he never introduced me to baseball. I didn't really know anything about baseball. Just kind of, really baseball, whatever. And being the fourth of 4, the Pops was ready to move on. He was ready to.
You and I have the same story, okay? Our fathers were doing the same thing in the summertime. And so I was a very poor baseball player, and because I was a big old fat kid. Okay, I was the big, like the kid in Bad News Bears. I was the big old fat kid. So when I was in 6th grade, I played for the Astros, and my best friend Kenny's dad was the coach. Great coach. He worked with me, tried to get me to hit. I was a horrible hitter. We went to go try on the uniforms. They did not have a uniform that fit me. So my mother went to Enterprise and got a uniform for me. And my uniform was different than the other kids. It didn't have the Astros logo on it, like the thing.
Oh, man.
It was So I said, you know what? I'm going to pick my own number. And I was a pioneer in that. So I picked my favorite number, which was 0. Yeah. I was number 0. And I was wearing a uniform unlike other people. And that's my story. All right. So I wanted to set you up with that because all the things that you don't like about baseball have been fixed. Okay.
Well, not all of them, but some.
No. You got to let me finish. Let me finish. Have you seen a phenomenon called the Savannah Bananas?
I have not seen them in person, but I know what you're talking about.
So watch a game. It is one of the, and I hear in person is unbelievable. But if you watch one, the rules are different. Okay. They have to play in under 2 hours. You can't step out of the box. If a fan catches the ball, it's an out.
Yeah.
In the stands. They have unbelievable time limits. Music is nonstop. This weekend, there was some unbelievable trick plays where the guy catches it over his shoulder. I mean, it is. A friend of mine's parents went, and they are the most boring people in the whole world. And they thought it was the greatest thing they'd ever seen. And that just tells you they got 4 teams now, and they sell out football stadiums.
Yeah,
it's a huge phenomenon, and I don't think it's going to change.
No,
it's crazy.
Yeah,
so
I've seen some videos of it. Saw the interview they did on some show or whatnot. I'm with you, and I've been saying it for a long time. There's aspects of professional baseball they got to do without. You know, they put a pitch clock on them, and they've done stuff with me going to the mound and all that kind of stuff and stepping out of the batter's box. You know, hey, you want to walk the guy, just point to first base like we did out there at Lagoon Park. Tell the guy to start walking. You know, I know this might be a little extreme, but I'm thinking, hey, if you hit a home run, do you really have to run around the bases? I mean, really? I mean, just go back to the dugout.
So for the Bananas, if you walk a guy, then he has to run to first base. And if they get the ball from third to second to first before he gets there, it's an out. I mean, well, it's unbelievable. I mean, it's great stuff.
Yeah,
so, anyway,
I like that.
I know that you probably didn't expect that part of a segment of your show was going to end up on baseball and Savannah Bananas, but it's just too good not to.
It is. Well, I've got to do it. I've yet to see it. I've heard a lot about it, and I do need to go check it out. I do, because I've heard way too many good things about it. All right, we got to take another break. When we return, the Phantom's Daily Dog. We're going to release that when we get back. Also, Gurn Jr.'s Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel in the last half of this hour. A couple of other things we're going to get to as well today on the program. Gurn Jr. sitting in for Barry McKnight, who is in Greensboro, North Carolina, at an awards ceremony. He'll be back on Wednesday. Take a break. Back with more. This is Longshore McKnight, presented by Bud Light.
Phoenix Physical Therapy is ready to help patients recover, recharge, and rise. They develop a customized therapy plan for each patient to get them back to enjoying their favorite activities. Their experienced team is committed to providing exceptional care in a professional environment. Whether you're looking to prevent or treat an injury, recover from a recent illness, or recuperate from surgery, schedule an appointment with our clinic and take advantage of our physical therapy, athletic training, workers' comp, and employer solutions service. Experience elevated physical therapy today. Call Phoenix Physical Therapy at 239-9316. That's 239-9316.
Summer's here, and so too are its many challenges. Heat that won't quit, beers that won't fit, hammocks that won't hammock, screen doors that appear out of nowhere, flips that flop a little too much. That's why it's important to keep it simple. Keep it cool, keep them coming, and keep it easy. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Bud Light.
Phoenix Physical Therapy is ready to help patients recover, recharge, and rise. They develop a customized therapy plan for each patient to get them back to enjoying their favorite activities. Their experienced team is committed to providing exceptional care in a professional environment. Whether you're looking to prevent or treat an injury, recover from a recent illness, or recuperate from surgery, schedule an appointment with our clinic and take advantage of our physical therapy, athletic training, workers' comp, and employer solutions service. Experience elevated physical therapy today. Call Phoenix Physical Therapy at 239-9316.
You're not buying sticks, stems, and pine cones. You're buying premium long-diddle pine straw from River Region Straw. Kenny and his staff have access to the best pine straw in the River Region, full of color that will last all season long. Kenny has locations in Montgomery, Prattville, and Auburn, and no order is too big or too small, from a few bales to an 18-wheeler trailer load. Pickup is available, or your order can be delivered. They can even spread your pine straw if you like. So call or text Kenny today, 669-5959. That's 669-5959 for all of your pine straw needs. All righty, welcome back in, everybody. We're here about 24 minutes past the hour here on a Monday. Longshore and McKnight, presented by Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy, in association with our good friends at Yellowhammer News and yellowhammernews.com. All right, our Phantom's Daily Dog. Girl, I don't know if you remember, but Friday we released a daily dog, which we do, hence daily. We had the Cincinnati Reds at home hosting the San Diego Padres. The Reds were plus 120 at home and won the game outright 8-1 for a winning week last week. 3 up, 2 down for the Phantom in his Phantom Daily Dog for last week. But that was then, this is now.
Yes, 3-2. That gets you past the juice, though. That's a profit. That's still a profit, right?
That is a winning weekend. Yes.
Okay, just making sure. You gotta put the vig in there,
Well, it's easy to put it this way. If you bet 100 a game, you're up 300, you're down 220, you profited $80.
There you go.
All right, so today we're a light card in the majors. Monday, a lot of teams have the day off from time to time. We are going to Arlington, Texas for for a game that first pitch is at 7:05. I don't see any national TV broadcast because the television networks don't want to carry baseball because it's such a loser. More on that with John from Wetumpka here in just a moment. So I don't know where you're going to watch this game. I guess on the internet or something. But the Rangers are hosting the Baltimore Orioles. This game is at even. I do not believe it will go off at even at 7:05 tonight. Possibly could see the Orioles as a favorite. Possibly. I don't know that. I'm just feeling that. But I do like this game at even. And I know what you're saying. Baltimore's in dead last in the American League Eastern Division. I don't care. So what? Doesn't matter to me a bit. The Texas Rangers, not far behind in the Western Division of the American League. They are in 4th place out of 5 teams. But I like the pitching matchup tonight. I am going with the Baltimore Orioles at even against the home Texas Rangers tonight.
All
there
right.
is your Phantom's Daily Dog.
Awesome. That's a great choice, John. 2 things about that game. First is the Baltimore Orioles have a player that Gurn Jr. played Pee Wee football against, who's one of the top players in the league, named Gunnar Henderson. He's from Selma.
Yeah, Bill from Baltimore just chimed in on the chat.
So there you go. So Gunnar Henderson, one of the top players in the league, and he's a stud. Maybe a year younger than Gurn Jr. in Pee Wee football. Secondly, and this is a little ironic, is that Pork Chop makes the show twice today.
No way.
Pork Chop and I were at the old Texas Stadium for a Rangers game with his girlfriend at the time, Mandy. And
not Mandy Peppery.
Mandy Tea Cake Cheeks.
Yep.
Mandy and Clyde made the kiss cam.
Yes.
And,
wow.
That was a little. I was the third wheel. I had to sit there while they did the kiss cam. So that was my experience at the old Texas Stadium in Arlington that used to be out by Six Flags.
All right.
So
I see where you're coming with that. And I've said this before many a time in my career. I'm not a big baseball guy. I think people know that. John from Wetumpka knows that. I'm about to get to his chat here in just a second. For a guy that's not a baseball guy, I've been to 3 World Series games. 3 World Series games. I have been to 4, I think 4. I'm trying to remember if I've missed one. I don't think I have. I've been to 4 American League ballparks. I've only been to 1 National League ballpark. That, of course, being, well, I went to Fulton County. I've been to Turner Field. I've not been to the new place, but that's one team, so to speak. I went to Seattle when they played in the Kingdome.
Ooh.
Yeah, rough. Been to Fenway Park, still there. Been to Yankee Stadium, the old Yankee Stadium. And I've been to that same ballpark where the Texas Rangers played. It was like a AAA minor league of stadium. It was nothing special about it.
No.
Oh, sat in the outfield. Never forget.
So my Red Sox story is when I was working for Senator Howell Heflin one summer. I went up to Boston with my buddy Kenny. He's made the show twice today as well.
Kenny has made the show twice.
We drove up, and Roger Clemens was a rookie, and he was going he was about to be 13-0 against, I think, the Mariners, and we didn't have tickets. So we got there early, and we're shocked that we could pay $60 a piece to get a ticket. And so we went in, and he said, "What does this RV stand for on the ticket?" And I'm like, "I don't know. RV, I don't know. Recreational vehicle, I don't know." We get there, it's called restricted view. I was on one side of a pole and he was on another side of a pole, and basically we had to go back and forth. And so we're sitting there early, and a guy from the Harrisburg Press Herald or whatever, Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, comes and does an interview with us. And says, "Where are y'all from?" And say, "Oh, we Alabama," and all this kind of stuff. He writes an article about us. And in the article, I said, "If the Red Sox make the World Series, I'm coming back. We're coming back." And they actually made the World Series, and that was the Bill Buckner through the legs. First base year.
Wow.
That's in 86 or something like that.
Okay.
And we didn't come back. But the guy sent me a copy of the article, and I have it in my scrapbook. So there you go.
There you have it. I went to Fenway. It was game 1 of the ALCS. Boston was playing Oakland. Wade Boggs hit a home run in that game. Wade would come down to the Buckmasters event every year. So we had a little connection with some tickets and went up there to the game. That was the Earthquake series, San Francisco and Oakland. Oakland went on to beat the Red Sox in the ALCS that year, but got to take in the game at Fenway. All right, John from Wetumpka, this whole worn out statement gets me here. John claims over 60 million people went to Major League Baseball. NFL has half the attendance. What's wrong with the NFL? Why are some of the stadiums half full and they only have 9 home games? Well, there's your point. There's the answer to your question, John. Baseball has way too many games, obviously more games to draw fans to, but don't give me this. They're standing room only. See a lot of empty seats at Major League Baseball games. I don't see a lot of empty seats at NFL games. I don't know what games you're watching, John. But even the crappy teams, I see some pretty good fans there at the stadiums. Bottom line, television networks are falling all over themselves to broadcast the NFL. The ratings are through the roof. Baseball, they can't find a television partner. Nobody wants them. There you have it.
So John, Bill says he's taking the family to see the Orioles and the Cubs at Wrigley.
Yep.
Okay. So
I've never been to Wrigley Field. Never been there.
This is my Wrigley story. I've been several times, but I took the family to Wrigley. And Bill, let me give you a tip. When you're buying tickets for Wrigley, make sure if you're buying 2 sets of tickets, make sure they're both for the same night.
Ooh.
So we get to the game, and I send the wife and daughter to go in first, and they come back and say, "Dad, these tickets are for tomorrow night."
Ooh.
And so that was quite awkward. Luckily, I went to a scalper across the street, and we got them swapped out. But yeah, that was not a good way to start your Wrigley experience with a family. So
where did you get those tickets at the Pontiac Silverdome when I went with you to see Vanderbilt?
Now, those came from Vanderbilt. Those came from Vanderbilt, and boy, that was you talking about. That shows you what kind of donor we were.
Woo! I mean, I Are those guys actually playing basketball? We seem to be pretty far away here.
I don't even know if they had a widescreen at that point. I don't think
they did either.
There were big screens then.
Here, weren't there 2 games that night?
Oh yeah.
Who was the other game?
I can't remember who the other one was.
I love the balloons flying over there. That's awesome.
What is that?
Yeah, I can't remember either. I would have remembered who the other game was. But yeah, Vandy and Kansas. Was that Danny Manning playing for the Jayhawks?
Yeah, he went 23. He went like 21 to 22. He went off and had like 40-some points.
Was Will Purdue playing for Vandy in that game?
Will Purdue.
Yeah.
Barry Goheen. There are all kinds of guys. Yeah.
Yeah. Just some great players on that team. You better believe it. There's no doubt. All right, great stuff on the chat there. I have not been to Wrigley Field. I can't remember the last time I've been to Chicago.
Great town. Great town.
It's just been a while since I've been to the Windy City. Need to check that out, I guess. All right, you can always get in on the chat. It's right there, our River Region Straw chat line. You can email us at longshoreandmcknight@gmail.com. Let's see what the coach has to say here. Coach says, no subject, just flat out starts out the email and says, good morning, men. Is it time for Auburn just to hang up trying to compete with the big boys in football and just admit our calling is Olympic sports, basketball and baseball? 5 stars, 5 stars, 38 4-stars on a football roster is just not going to get it. Does every coach that comes into the city limits of Lee County just terrible, or does the program just not have the money? Now, Coach has been on this subject. He's been on this kick for quite some time. He doesn't believe Auburn's got the money to compete with other schools in this league. I don't know. I don't know what their NIL's looking like. People I talk to, things that I read, say they're up there. They're competitive. That's the word, the buzzword. We're competitive. Are they competitive enough? I don't know. You know, Hugh Freeze has kind of put his foot down of, we really want to establish these high school guys and get a culture and a core and some unity and whatnot, and then mix in some transfers, some NIL guys that we feel like can fit in and, put some of the puzzle pieces together. I'm no football coach. I don't know, but if that's how you want to do it, fine.
I honestly know a little bit about Auburn's NIL program, and they're real deal. They've got real donors. It's real deal. I personally think it's headed in the right direction that way. Especially look at basketball. They have used their NIL money very wisely and done very well. Now that's a smaller pool. I mean, you can go out and spend it over 6 or 7 guys, but still, they're getting. Pettiford came back for a big number. He didn't come back for nothing. So they're doing it right. It's just
I'm with you. I'm with you.
You have a good program, and the NIL dollars will support it to get you the right guys.
Sure.
I mean, you got to have both. You can't have one and not the other.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think there's really anything to panic about. Maybe not getting all the splashy headlines and whatnot right now, but we'll see. Here's how I can shut John from Wetumpka down. Here we go again. Saw NFL games half full. Couldn't believe it. NFL has good ratings because it's a bet like a horse race. Major League Baseball averages 1.9 million per game for 162 games. John, we've talked about this before. I forget, was it a year ago or so? The top 100 rated sports television broadcast in a year, 100 of them. Not one of them involved a Major League Baseball game, including the World Series. Now, you can give me all these attendance figures and, bobblehead night and giveaways and letting the folks in at, 2 for 1 and all these kind of gimmicks that baseball has to employ to get people interested in what they're doing. But when you don't even show up in the top 100 rated sporting events for a year, and certainly the NFL dominated that list of 100, there were several college football games on that list, as well as NBA games, but no Major League Baseball. That's why ESPN couldn't get out of baseball quick enough. So we're done with this loser sport. And, great. If you love baseball and you're a purist and a traditionalist and you think it's the greatest game ever played, more power to you. Love it. Great. But the bean counters and the guys behind the boardroom desk don't think that way. Young America could care less. Bores them to tears. Don't want any part of it. The WNBA is outrating Major League Baseball. What does that tell you? It's embarrassing. All right, got to take a break. When we return, Gurn Jr.'s Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel is loaded up in the green room, warming up. I can see, ready to go. You ready for this, Gurn? We do not know these topics.
Do not know the topics.
We see them for the first time, just as you, the viewer, does, the listener does. Gurn Jr. puts this together. We will see where it's headed when we return right after this quick timeout.
The Destin Connection Seafood Market offers the freshest seafood direct from the Gulf of Mexico with deliveries daily. Snapper, grouper, pompano, flounder, copia, along with medium, large, and jumbo shrimp, hand-picked crab meat, and chucked oysters. They can even cook your order for easy, quick pickup. The Destin Connection can make a po' boy with any of their seafood items that folks in New Orleans rave about. Go by and see them at 3750 Norman Bridge Road or call 288-4272 for pickup orders.
All right, man, grab a Budweiser and take a knee. It is the best time of the year. It's baseball season. That means sunshine. It means behind-the-back peanut tosses. And it means sharing some cold, frosty Budweisers with your boys. Because there's nothing more American than watching America's game with America's beer. So let me ask you something. Are you ready to bring your A game? Are you ready to cheer every frozen rope down the line and amazing catch at the warning track? Are you ready for pitchers' duels and slugfests? Tell me, are you ready for the thrill of an incredible walk-off victory? I can't hear you. Are you ready for Budweiser and baseball? Then get on your feet, raise an ice-cold Bud, and let's make this season larger than life. Great times are waiting. Get some Bud!
Enjoy responsibly. Budweiser Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Don't miss your chance to win big at Victoryland Casino. Play the latest, hottest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. Don't miss out on your free play. Stop by Player Rewards today and check out this month's exciting free play promotions. Come see why our players keep coming back. You'll have more fun at Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too. Victoryland Casino, located off I-85 exit 22, Shorter, Alabama. Must be 21 or older.
All righty, welcome back in. Glad you are with us here today, about 18 minutes to the top of the hour. Mrs. John from Wetumpka might be on to something. I might be out of my mind, but I'm not gonna get on Mrs. John from Wetumpka. I like her too much. I like you too, John.
I agree on that. I mean, that's something we can all, as a nation, we can all agree on that.
Check those WNBA ratings, John. I'm telling you. Go ahead and check them. Okay. All right. Gurn Jr. has put together an extensive topic wheel for us here today. Looks like we got about, 6 topics. We have yet to see these. So as they pop up on the screen after we spin the wheel, we will we'll try to make up comment on it and make out what we can as best we can. All right. Put on the wheel. Let's spin it. Let's see what comes up. And here we are. Can't wait. Can't wait. What could this be about? College football season, maybe? Let's see. So Oakland Athletics player Louis Savarino, not real thrilled about where the A's are playing baseball. The A's are headed to Vegas.
And their stadium's not built, won't be built for a while, so they're playing in a AAA park in Sacramento.
Well, I'm thinking, is this guy not seeing where the Tampa Bay Rays are playing? I mean, come on.
Well, there's a reason. That's because of it. Well, that's not just greed on the owner's part.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's they're playing for a AAA team, so he shouldn't be surprised that.
So I'd be interested in this. I've never been to Oakland Alameda County Coliseum or whatever it was called back then. I got to think this place in Sacramento is better than that place. That place was a dump.
Well, it was a dump, but it was a bigger dump. If you want to see it, watch the movie Moneyball, because you get to see like how big a dump it is.
Yeah. And then they had the Raiders playing there in the was that the last combination stadium where they had football and where they have the baseball infield in the football field?
I think that's probably right. I can't think of any other where they do both anymore. Every town now has a high level baseball field.
Yeah,
you know, that's part of the marketing stick. That's part of the revenue stream. You have to have a dedicated park.
Yeah. And for you young,
I'm not aware of any other place that does dual anymore.
For you young viewers and listeners out there, there was a time in professional sports where the NFL, the first part of the season when baseball was still going on, you would see games played. Basically, the football field was in the outfield, but portions of the infield where the dirt was were a part of the NFL field. I cannot believe the players' union allowed for that.
That was that was in the bad days.
It was in the bad days. Fulton County Stadium, Atlanta. What was one that was like that? Cincinnati, Riverfront, all those type of multi-purpose stadiums. John Dent, but yeah, I remember the Marlins played where the Dolphins play, and that was a deal. They had a dual-purpose stadium there while they were building. I believe when the Marlins first came into the league, they played there at Joe Robbie because the stadium, the corners were kind of built for baseball to put the home plate and the baseball press box was in that corner. It was kind of a weird configuration.
How about this for a question, John? Did the Alouettes play in the same stadium as the Expos?
Was that Exhibition Stadium?
CFL, the Canadian Football League, and then the Expos. I wonder if I can't remember if they played in the same stadium or not.
I think they did, as a matter of
Metrodome. Fact. The Metrodome was a dual use one.
Yeah, it was. So was the Astrodome.
Astrodome was.
Yep, sure was. All right, that's a good one, Gurn. Let's spin it again. See what comes up next in the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel, exit 22 off I-85. Shorter, Alabama. Great place to spend the 4th of July and win big. All right, big talk. Big talk. Let's see what this could be about. Durant declares war on Mount Rushmore. None of them can guard me. That sounds like some smack talk, Gurn.
Well, Kevin Durant is one of the greatest players of all time. He is what I call a unicorn. He's 6'11", however tall, can just light it up, can take it to the hoop. He's had I call it a tragic career in the sense that he had it all to start with, the big three in Oklahoma City, and got too big. Then he went to the Warriors and had it all, got too big. And then he just languished with some average teams, and he can't carry a team. And he's a guy, grew up in the Washington, D.C. area, maybe the BWI area.
Yeah.
And ended up at a school, which was a small boarding school in Virginia that was right by very up on a mountain where they had all the stud players. And then he got bought to go to Texas. Hate to say that. He just he would have gone to Texas any other way. He went to Texas for his freshman year, had a huge year, and the rest is history. He's a great player, but show me what you've done other than stats. And he's a really good player. And it's just tragic. I mean, he'll go down. Look, he's a Hall of Famer. He'll be in the top 100 when they redo that, the top 50. But I don't. It's like he and Harden. I don't want Harden on my team. He drags it down, even though he's good.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, and you listed several of how many. It seems like Kevin Durant's played for just about every team in the league. I mean, this guy has been around.
But he's also been around. In other words, he's into his 14th, 15th. I mean, I don't know how many years. He's played a long time.
Yeah.
And the fact he's still playing, I mean, and he's still really good. I mean, it's almost pitiful for me to put him down because he is a damn good player. But, and this will be a great opportunity for him to win a championship in Houston. They are that good. They're a young team that's that good. And adding him could be a missing piece. So
he's got Jabari Smith with him.
Well, they've got a coach. What you don't remember, what a lot of people don't remember, this guy was the head coach of the Celtics, and he got had a little extracurricular within the organization, and they fired him.
Oh,
and so he sat a year out, and the Rockets got him fast. He's an unbelievable coach. So he's a great pro coach. So if I were doing futures on any NBA team next year, I'd put money in top 3 on the Rockets. Yeah, they're that good.
I'm going to keep that in my filing cabinet there. So is this former Celtic coach fishing off the company pier?
Yes. That would be, he was not only in the pier, he's also, can you say scuba diving in the company lake? There was more to it than just fishing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fishing off the company pier. I've heard that one before. Okay. 4 more to go. Let's get it going here. Gurn Jr.'s Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel, where you can be a winner too, and it is going to land on Massive KO. I hope we got some video of this. Massive KO. What happened here in a UFC fight? Oh, this ought to be good. Was it a kick or a blow to the head? Oh, man, this guy's on. Oh, he doesn't know what day it is. Woo, man.
How in the world? This is one of the most popular things in all of sport.
Yeah.
Back in the day, we would say, oh, that's just terrible. Now it's just par for the course.
Yeah, pretty much is. I have never been to a UFC event. Don't plan on it. I don't watch it. It just doesn't interest me. It seems somewhat barbaric to me. I'd love to go to a heavyweight boxing match, but I'm not even sure they have those anymore. But this UFC business, obviously it's popular. It's making a ton of money. I don't get it.
They do have heavyweight boxing because Tuscaloosa's Deontay Wilder actually won last weekend. So it does exist. I don't know where it exists, but once Butterbean got out of it, it kind of went downhill.
You're right. Butterbean, a relative of Mitchell from Tuscaloosa, he's long time
from Walker County.
Yeah,
they say he's from Jasper. I think he has to be from somewhere other than outside of the city limits.
Yeah. Well, what other communities are in Walker County besides Jasper?
Curry over there, and there's I don't know. There's other towns. I
know we know a lot of people from Jasper. That's a unique part of the state. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
No doubt. I think our current president is a big UFC fan. I think he's been spotted at several UFC events. I guess that's some of his voting base. I guess UFC fans like to vote for Trump. All right, 3 more to go here on the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel. Exit 22 off I-85 in Shorter, Alabama. And we're going to go with a bad sport. A bad sport.
Did you see this, John?
I did not.
I thought about you.
So he hits a shot, doesn't like it, and takes it out on the water cooler.
No, I hear why.
His driver, hits the T marker. So is that what we need to get the live more relevant? I mean, it's kind of like what we talked about earlier in the WNBA, promoting a little roughhousing and fighting.
How did the splinters off of that didn't shatter into a patron? I mean, look at the patrons lining. I can't imagine. I've never played in a pro-am where there are patrons lining the tees.
Yeah.
So I don't know that feeling, but man, I'd be nervous as hell if I'm teeing up right there with those folks.
Well, I was about to say, they don't look like there are a lot of fans at that event. I mean, I've seen a few live events on channel surfing, and they don't have a lot of crowd backing. You don't want to see that, particularly in golf.
Yeah.
But I wonder if we're going to see more of that kind of stuff, just to kind of.
Not on PGA Tour won't allow that.
No,
stuff.
Not the PGA Tour, but I wonder if the Live Tour is going to.
I don't know.
Going to let them do more of that. You don't want to see it, but I don't know. We'll see. All right. We got a couple of more going here on the Gurn Jr. Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel. Let's see what we got. And fastest yet. All right.
So Shohei Ohtani, John, this is all right. You say who's the greatest athlete of all time? You got to go Bo Jackson to me, football, baseball, and just how freakish he was. This guy, though, is unbelievable. He is the best hitter in baseball, and he had Tommy John surgery or some other surgery, and he's just coming back, and they're only letting him pitch. He had Tommy John. Only let him pitch like 2 innings at a time, and he hit 101.7. And it's just crazy that a human being can do that. It's just crazy. And plus, his interpreter stole like a couple mil from him gambling.
I was just about to ask you, how's his English? Is he sharpened up on his English yet? I mean, he can do everything on the baseball field.
He got a better interpreter. How about that?
You know what he needs, Gurn? I was down in Mexico a week or so ago, and I ran into a lot of people there where we were, and they would type it in on their phone in Spanish and then show it to me in English. I thought, well, that's a great idea. That's awesome.
That is not a good idea to do in the United States right now. Let's put it that way.
I hear you. All right. Well, we got one more. We got to spin it to make it official, and it just happens to be let's spin it first. And the topic is
I hope it's the end. That would be odd if it's not.
Yeah, no kidding. It is the end. What could this be about? Who's hanging it up? We have a winner.
So they think this is his last year. And, it's time. But he's still a freakish athlete at his age.
No doubt.
He's 40 years old. I mean, I remember watching him in high school, and I felt like I was young then. I wasn't. I was fat, but I wasn't young. And he is. I do like the highlight there. His wife wants him to effing retire in the next year or so. But I think he could go another 4 or 5 years. He's that physically intimidating. And,
he is.
And he can play at a high level. I just wish he'd been on a better team. I just do. I mean, it's kind of the Durant thing. He's just kind of been saddled with some, average guys. And teams win championships. Individuals don't. Tell me, I just got through watching The Last Dance. If you hadn't seen it, it's a documentary on the Bulls. It's an
it's awesome.
Old documentary.
Sure.
But it shows Jordan early in his career where he was the stud. He was averaging 40 points a game. And then they bring in Phil Jackson. And makes it a team game, and they win 6 straight. So, it's totally different. Totally different. So,
how old was Jerry West when he retired?
Gosh, I don't know. He's probably younger than you think, but he went he played a long time, but he also coached and then was GM forever. I mean, he was.
I just wonder. I mean, I'm sure. Has there ever been I don't know who the oldest NBA player has ever been.
Gosh, well, Udonis Haslem, who played at Florida, stayed on the Miami Heat for years.
Yeah.
So he might have been. I mean, he was like 42 or 3. I mean, I'm sure there's somebody older, but anyhow, that's
yeah, it's good stuff.
Hey, before we go, John, I do want to say one thing. How proud we are here at the show with Barry and his accomplishments and the honor he's getting tonight in Greensboro, North Carolina. That's not just for 1 year's work. That's a body of work that he's done for 30 plus years or more. And he is a true professional in everything he does. So, and we talk about sandpaper and silk.
Yeah,
the silk is obvious, but he is a true professional.
Well, there's no doubt. He is one of the best, if not the best, and I've said it many, many years, and I'm not just saying it because I've worked with him for 30 of those years. He is outstanding in his craft. He takes a lot of pride in it, and he works very hard at it. And this is an award that is richly deserved. Very happy and proud for him, and I know he'll tell us all about it on Wednesday when he returns. So, yeah, it's great stuff. Very, very happy for Barry. All right, tomorrow, I believe Gern will be back from on the show with us, as well as Brian Matthews, auburnsports.com, will join us at the bottom of hour number 1. Travis Ryer on YouTube, Talking Tide. We'll check in with Travis tomorrow as well. More Gern Jr.'s Victoryland 777 Topic Wheel, the Phantom's Daily Dog. We got a lot coming at you tomorrow on the program. Gern, thanks for pinch hitting today. Really appreciate that. Some great content today. Really enjoyed it, and I know our viewers and our listeners did as well. Hey, make sure to check us out at yellowhammernews.com. There's always a video and a write-up about the show each and every day at their website. Also, check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, X, Spotify. We're all over the place. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and tell all your friends about us as well. Have a great day. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you again tomorrow.